Translation, the process of formation of proteins. During this process of translation, proteins are formed from the base of mRNA. From the basis of mRNA or the basis sequence of mRNA, where it occurs on the surface of ribosomes. The process of formation of proteins, see in translation, the process of formation of proteins from mRNA on the surface of ribosomes is called translation. What will be happen in translation? Proteins will be formed. From where proteins are produced? From the mRNA template. And where it occurs? The process occurs inside ribosome, on the surface of ribosomes, on the surface of ribosomes. So the process of translation is nothing but formation of proteins from mRNA template on the surface of ribosomes is called translation. Translation is having 3 steps. The first step is activation of amino acids. Activation of amino acids. The second one is initiation of polypeptide chain. Initiation, and second one is initiation, and third one is elongation. Elongation, and fourth one is termination. Initiation, elongation, and termination. So first one is activation of amino acids. Activation of amino acids. Let us see the activation of amino acids, and these are the 3 processes: initiation of polypeptide chain, and elongation of polypeptide chain, and the termination of polypeptide chain. Initiation of polypeptide chain, elongation of polypeptide chain, and termination of polypeptide chain. Totally, these are the 3 steps in translation. The first step in translation is activation of amino acids. Let us see that first step in action. During the first step, activation of amino acids, during the first step, first what happens, amino acids take one ATP and forms aminoacyl adenylate complex. Aminoacyl adenylate complex by the enzyme aminoacyl synthase. Aminoacyl synthase. So amino acids take one ATP in the first step. Amino acids take one ATP and converts into aminoacyl adenylate complex by the enzyme aminoacyl synthase. Later in the second stage, aminoacyl adenylate complex plus one tRNA forms aminoacyl tRNA. This is one way. Or the same 2 steps we can write directly. Amino acids take one ATP plus tRNA gives rise to aminoacyl tRNA. Directly we can write, no problem. So that is activation of amino acids. How activation of amino acids takes place? In the first step, what happens? Amino acids plus ATP gives rise to aminoacyl adenylate complex. In this enzyme, in this reaction, the enzyme catalyzes this reaction is aminoacyl synthase. Aminoacyl adenylate complex takes one tRNA and forms aminoacyl tRNA. This is the first step. Translation requires first one mRNA, second one translation requires first mRNA template. So this mRNA contains 2 things. First one is methyl guanosine triphosphate cap, methyl guanosine triphosphate cap at 5 dash end and poly A tail at 3 dash end. Poly A tail at 3 dash end. Now this is the first codon and this is second codon, this is third codon, this is fourth codon, this is fifth codon, sixth codon, seventh codon, and this is last stop codon. This is first codon and this is last codon, or this is stop codon. Middle, all these codons are present. Now this gap is called UTR. This gap is called UTR. What is UTR? UTR is untranslated regions. Untranslated regions. Untranslated regions. Untranslated regions. Untranslated regions. So untranslated regions. Untranslated regions. What is the use of untranslated regions? They increase the efficiency of translation process. The UTR are present on 5 dash end just before first starting codon and at the 3 dash end of mRNA after stop codon. UTRs are present at 5 dash end before initiation codon, at 3 dash end after stop codon. UTRs are present at 5 dash end before initiation codon, at 3 dash end after stop codon. These are UTRs. UTRs increase the efficiency of translation. UTRs, because because of these gaps, translation, all the codons will be translated during the time of translation. All the codons will be translated during the time of translation. So this is UTR. The function of UTR is to increase the efficiency of translation. This is mRNA. This is first codon, this is second codon, this is third codon, this is fourth codon, this is fifth codon. Continuously, for example, this is sixth codon. Let us consider this mRNA contains only 6 codons and this is stop codon. This is stop codon. So six codons let us take in this mRNA. This is UTR, this part is UTR and this part is UTR. This part is UTR. After at 3 dash and after stop codon, this is called UTR and untranslated region, and this is poly A tail. Poly A tail. So this is mRNA. Now the process of transcription starts with initiation. The process of transcription starts with binding of smaller ribosomal unit to mRNA. Binding of smaller ribosomal to mRNA. The process of transcription starts with binding of smaller ribosomal unit to mRNA. This is smaller ribosomal unit. Smaller ribosomal unit is added to or joined to smaller ribosomal unit joined to mRNA. This is the first event in translation. Later, in this place, this is, now let us take this primary structure of tRNA. So in the primary structure of tRNA, it is inverted L shape. So that let us take in the inverted L shape only. This is inverted L shape tRNA. This tRNA is carrying first amino acid, that is methionine. Now this is having UAC here. UAC anticodon. This is AUG. First initiation codon is AUG. No. AUG. So that this tRNA is having anticodon AUC. So this is, in this case, the first tRNA will come and bind at first place, first codon with anticodon, right? Then next, later, larger ribosomal unit binds to. The larger ribosomal unit binds to mRNA. So this is the order. First, in the process of transcription starts with binding of smaller ribosomal unit with mRNA. in this bind, when the smaller ribosomal unit is binds to mRNA, the process of transcription starts. After smaller ribosomal unit binding to mRNA, tRNA will come and join at first codon. This is the first tRNA, initiation tRNA. It brings first amino acid. This initiation tRNA is having, here initiation codon is having AUG. Initiation codon is having AUG, so that AUG is present in initiation codon, so that UAC is the anticodon in tRNA. tRNA contains anticodons and mRNA contains codons. So the codon are present and anticodon, with the anticodon the tRNA will bind to mRNA. First mRNA will come and bind to here in this place. Now let us see this. There are three regions present in ribosome. So the first one is, this is called elimination site, E site, and this is aminoacyl site, A site. This is peptidyl site, sorry. This is peptidyl site, P site, and this is aminoacyl accepting site, A site. Now let us see, the ribosomal unit contains larger ribosomal unit contains three subunits. First one is, are three sites. It is called E site, P site, and A site. The E site is called elimination site, and the P site is called peptidyl site, and the A site is called aminoacyl accepting site. In the place of E site, now in this case, the first E site is present at UTR, and first tRNA is, first amino acid is, or first codon is present at P site, and the second codon is present at A site, third codon is present outside of the ribosome. You can see here, in the E site is now gap, UTR is there, and at the P site first codon is present, and at the A site second codon is present, and third codon is present outside of the ribosome. After this, then what happens? Aminoacyl site accepts another tRNA with another tRNA with second codon, second amino acid. The second amino acid is this is second amino acid. The second amino acid will come with second tRNA at second place. This is aminoacyl accepting site. So when aminoacyl accepting site is closed, then what happens? When aminoacyl accepting site is filled with tRNA, then ribosome moves one codon distance. The process initiation is first three steps. Smaller ribosomal unit binds to ribosome mRNA, and later tRNA binds to first codon, and later larger ribosomal unit binds to mRNA. This is initiation is over. Next, elongation we can see. In the case of initiation, what happens? First tRNA is present at first codon, second one is gap, so that second one accepted new tRNA. This is onwards, elongation starts. The second aminoacyl accepting site accepts one second tRNA. The second tRNA brings the second amino acid according to the second codon. For example, the second codon is AAA or UUU. Then what will happen? UUU means what? Phenylalanine will come. Phenylalanine will come in this place. So that is based on the codons as per the genetic order, genetic code. We have seen that amino acids will come as per these codons. So the amino acids will brought together by tRNA. So the tRNA is coming to this place, and aminoacyl accepting site accepted a new tRNA. Then now after this, ribosome moves one codon distance. When ribosome moves one codon distance, what happens? Let us see now. Third codon. Now this is ribosomal unit. Ribosome moves one codon distance. When ribosome moves one codon distance, third codon is entered inside ribosome. You can see. Here in this, third codon is present outside. Third codon is present outside of the ribosome in this case, but third codon is now present inside, you can see. This is tRNA, and this tRNA contains first amino acid. This tRNA contains second amino acid, and now this is larger ribosomal unit. The larger ribosomal unit contains now the first tRNA. Now this is A site and this is E site and this is P site and this is A site. In the A site, what will happen? Elimination site. Now by giving this amino acid to this second one, this first tRNA will be eliminated. By giving this, in this case what happened? By giving the first tRNA, first amino acid to second amino acid, the first tRNA will be eliminated in this place. Eliminated. This is eliminated. First tRNA is eliminated. But first tRNA left its amino acid in this place. The first tRNA left its amino acid in this place. But first tRNA, when the first tRNA comes, listen here once. When ribosome moves one codon distance, now here in this case you can see first codon is present at P site, second codon is present at A site. But when ribosome moves one codon distance, the first codon will come to E site. The second codon will come to P site. But in the P site, in this first case, P site is, first codon is present. E site is empty. But in the E site, first codon is came because ribosome moved one codon distance. So when one codon distance it is moved, what will happen? This is the first tRNA will be eliminated by leaving the first amino acid. The first amino acid will come and join to second amino acid. The first amino acid will be joined to second amino acid with the peptide bond here in this place. Next, a new tRNA will be accepted in this place. tRNA with amino acid 3. tRNA with amino acid 3 is accepted and now E site is empty. When E site is becomes empty, then what will happen? Ribosome again moves one codon distance. Again ribosome moves. Now here in this place you can see fourth codon is outside. Now in this case, next, after moving one codon, when ribosome moves another one more codon, then what happens? First tRNA, first codon will be come outside of ribosome. First tRNA comes, first tRNA, first codon comes outside of ribosome. Now you can see like this. This is first codon. This is E site and this is P site and this is E site. And the first codon comes outside of the ribosome. You can see whenever one codon distance ribosome is moved in this place, then what happened? First codon is comes outside because the ribosome moves like this. Fourth codon will get inside and first codon will be gone outside. So this is second one and this is third codon and this is fourth codon. When ribosome moved one codon distance, first codon came outside and fourth codon came inside. So now this is E site and this is P site and this is A site. Added now the E site contains second tRNA and first with amino acid and second amino acid, because already we have seen here first amino acid is gone outside and it has left one amino acid here in this place. That amino acid is joined to second amino acid in the peptide bond place. So peptide bond is formed in this place, right? Peptide bond is formed. So in this case, first case what happened? First tRNA is left its amino acid and it is eliminated. When amino acid comes to E site, when tRNA comes to E site, the tRNA left its amino acid and it will be eliminated. When tRNA comes to E site, the tRNA will be eliminated by leaving the amino acid. That amino acid will be go to E site, P site, and in the P site it will be joined with the next amino acid. For example, in this case, now let us take the first tRNA come to E site and it left its amino acid and tRNA was eliminated. Now this first amino acid was joined to second amino acid in the P site, peptidyl site, because in between amino acid and amino acid, peptide bonds are formed in this place only. Next, in this case, now amino acyl place, A site accepts a new tRNA, that is third tRNA. Whenever it is accepted, then what happens? Again amino acid will be moved on codon distance. Now in the one codon distance, what happens now like this? In this case, now you see third codon is third tRNA is present at third tRNA is present at A site. But now because one codon distance ribosome is moved, so in this place third codon or third tRNA will come to P site. In this case, third codon and third tRNA is present at A site. But when ribosome moved one codon distance, third codon comes to P site and second codon comes to E site and amino acid site comes to fourth codon. So fourth codon accepts another new. Fourth codon accepts another new tRNA with amino acid, another new tRNA with amino acid. Now what happens? Now the amino acid which comes to the tRNA which comes to elimination site will be eliminated now. Now like this it will be eliminated. So tRNA is eliminated. Then what happens? These two, 1 and 2 will be joined to this. 1 and 2 will be joined this. Like that continuously what happens? This amino acid, new amino acid will come here and old amino acid will be the new amino acid will come, and when amino acid comes to E site, when tRNA comes to E site, the tRNA will be eliminated and ribosome moves one codon distance, again the new one will come, again the old tRNA will be eliminated. This will be continuously happens in this case. This is mRNA and this is first codon, and this is second codon, this is third codon, this is fourth codon, this is fifth codon, this is sixth codon, and this is stop codon. This is stop codon. We have discussed already 6 or 7 are there totally. So now seventh codon is the sixth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 codons are there. Seventh codon is stop codon. Let us consider. Whenever the ribosome comes in this place, whenever the amino acid accepting site come to this place, what happens in this time? This is smaller ribosomal unit, this is larger ribosomal unit. The larger ribosomal unit will not accept any new tRNA because this is stop codon. This codon is stop codon, and this is sixth one, and this is fifth one. And this is E site, and this is P site, and this is A site. And now this is fifth. Now this is fifth. Amino acid with fifth tRNA, and this is sixth tRNA. This is sixth tRNA, and now this is fifth means 4, 3, 2, 1 are there already. And next, last one, amino acid. It releases one releasing factor. It accepts stop codon, no? So that this is stop codon. When stop codon comes to amino acid A site, then amino acid A site, a releasing factor will come. Releasing factor, RF. This is called releasing factor, RF. This releasing factor break down this ribosomal unit. So that what happens here, the fifth codon, fifth tRNA will be eliminated in this place. The fifth tRNA is eliminated, and all these amino acids will be bind to, sixth amino acid, this is fifth amino acid, this is fourth, and this is third amino acid, and this is second amino acid, and this is first amino acid. All these amino acids will be bind to this. Totally, so seventh codon is stop codon, so that seventh codon is stop codon means 6 amino acids will be present in that polypeptide chain. 6 amino acids will be present in that polypeptide chain. Because now once again let us recap this. So in this, let us recap this translation. This is initiation phase. Initiation phase happens when smaller ribosomal unit binds to tRNA. First smaller ribosomal unit binds to tRNA. First tRNA will come to first codon, and after that larger ribosomal unit will come. The larger ribosomal unit contains E site, P site, A site. The first tRNA and first codon will be at P site, and second codon and second tRNA will be at A site, and E site will be empty. When E site is empty, then tRNA will be moved ribosome moves 1 codon distance. When ribosome moves 1 codon distance, let us go to this one. So this is ribosome moves 1 codon distance. Now you can see the first codon is at E site and second codon at P site and third codon and third tRNA will be, third tRNA is accepted. Now the third tRNA is accepted, you can see. And the third tRNA is accepted and the old first one, the first tRNA. When third tRNA is accepted, first tRNA will be eliminated. For example, the fourth tRNA is eliminated this side. Then what happens? Sixth tRNA will come inside. Fourth is eliminated, fifth will be there here, and sixth will come. So this is one is eliminating, second is here, and third is coming inside. Like that. So this is third tRNA will be inside, accepted inside, and first tRNA will be eliminated. But when the first tRNA is eliminated, it leaves the tRNA and it leaves its amino acid here, and this amino acid binds to second amino acid at the peptidyl site. And next, now when amino acid, when elimination site becomes empty, then what happens? Again ribosome moves another codon distance. So that second codon will come into elimination site. Second codon is coming to elimination site means fourth codon will be entered into accepting site, immunoacyl accepting site. In the fourth place, immunoacyl accepting site comes, and second place amino acid will be gone outside. Then this is third amino acid and third tRNA, and second and one will come and join to third place. In this way, what happens finally? When the ribosome moves total distance, whenever the stop codon comes in the immunoacyl accepting site, stop codon comes, then a releasing factor will come outside. Then releasing factor comes, and this releasing factor breakdowns these two ribosomal, smaller and larger ribosomal units. They break down the smaller and larger ribosomal units. Then polypeptide synthesis will be stopped. For example, one amino acid contains only 10 or 7, for example. 7 are there means in 7 codons are present in one mRNA, then 6 amino acid will be present in one polypeptide chain. So this is termination of polypeptide chain. Gene expression. There are 4 steps in gene expression. The first one is transcription level. Second one is transcription afterwards, mRNA will be undergo processing level. First one is transcription level, second one is processing level, third one is transportation of mRNA from nucleus to cytoplasm. Fourth one is translation. These are the 4 events we have seen. In these 4 events, gene expression takes place. A gene has to be expressed means the gene has to come across all these 4 processes. The first process is transcription. The gene should undergo transcription. After that, the gene enters into, the gene produces mRNA. That mRNA undergo process. After the process, mRNA will be shifted to cytoplasm. After that, mRNA will undergo translation process. After this translation process, the protein will be produced. The protein will produce a hormone or enzyme or a character. This is normal gene expression. Some special type of gene expression also we can see, that is based on external environmental characters. Based on this concept, we can say external environmental factors also responsible for gene expression. That is example, lac-operon concept. Lac-operon concept is proposed by Jacob and Monod. Jacob and Monod proposed lac-operon concept. Then lac-operon concept, what we are explaining through lac-operon concept, the DNA or the gene expression is based on environmental factors, or the environmental factors also can influence gene expression. Environmental factors also can influence gene expression. That is the importance of lac-operon. What is, first of all, let us see what is operon. Operon means a group of genes which performing a particular function. Now let us see, in the lac-operon, there are 2 steps are there. The first step is switch off mechanism, and the second one is switch on mechanism. First, let us see switch off mechanism. In the DNA of E. coli, first one is, this is promoter, this is I gene, and this is promoter, this is operator gene, and these three are ZYA genes are structural genes. Now I gene is called regulator gene. And I gene takes control over operator gene. Means operator gene operator gene is controlled by I gene. I gene produces an mRNA called repressor mRNA. With this repressor mRNA, it produces a protein called repressor protein. I gene produces repressor mRNA. Repressor mRNA produces a protein called repressor protein. This repressor protein go and binds to operator gene. Then operator gene will get blocked. When operator gene is blocked, what happens? Operator gene blocks structural genes, or operator gene will switch off ZYA genes. See, we have seen already, regulator gene can stop the function of operator gene, can block the operator gene, can regulate the operator gene, and operator gene can switch off and switch on structural genes. So once again, let us see the process. Regulator gene produces an mRNA called repressor mRNA. This repressor mRNA produces a protein called repressor protein. This protein will go to operator gene and it blocks the operator gene. When operator gene is blocked, that operator gene switch off ZYA genes. Then no enzyme will be produced from here. Here one thing we can see, here enzymes are, why they are not required? Why this is lack operant concept? The E. coli bacteria requires lactose. Lactose is a food source for that E. coli bacterium. Whenever the lactose is available to bacteria, then the bacteria need to produce beta-galactosidase like some enzymes. These enzymes help in lactose metabolism and provide energy to bacterium. But when that lactose is not available, the bacterium would no longer produce enzymes. Enzymes production is not required. Why? Lactose is not available. Food source is not available means they have no need to produce enzyme. So this is only the mechanism. Whenever the lactose food source is not available, then what will happen? Then no enzymes will be produced. Here operator gene, regulator gene produces repressor mRNA. That repressor mRNA will go to operator gene and operator gene will be blocked. When operator gene is blocked, then operator gene stops or switch off structural genes ZYA. Let us see now switch on mechanism. This is switch on mechanism. In this switch on mechanism, lactose is available to bacterium. When lactose is available, same procedure happens here also. Switch on mechanism and switch off mechanism, I gene performs the same function. There will be no difference in the function of I gene. In both switch off and switch on cases, I gene acts as regulator gene and I gene produces an mRNA called repressor mRNA. This repressor mRNA produces a protein called repressor protein. Same like in switch off mechanism also. So this repressor protein will not be reached to, operator gene because here lactose is present. So due to presence of this lactose binds to repressor protein. The repressor protein will be binded over by lactose. Then when lactose binds, repressor protein cannot reach the operator gene and cannot block operator gene. Then what happens? Operator gene is active. When operator gene is active, operator gene make structural genes active and switch on structural genes. Operator gene switch on structural genes. Then ZYA genes produce an mRNA called lac mRNA. This lac mRNA, Z gene produces beta-galactosidase and Y gene produces permease and A gene produces transestylase. We have discussed already the function of beta galactosidase. The function of beta galactosidase is to hydrolyze this lactose. Means here lactose is the food or substrate, food source and substrate. Lactose is the food source and substrate. That enzyme is produced by lactose itself. Means the production of this enzyme is induced by lactose only. If the lactose is not there, what happens? Repressor protein will go to operator gene and operator gene will be blocked. Operator gene is blocked means ZA cannot produce any enzyme. Here substrate only inducing production of enzyme. The beta galactosidase enzyme. What is the function of beta galactosidase enzyme? It helps in hydrolyzing lactose. And permease. What is the function of permease? The function of permease is increasing the permeability of beta galactosidase into the cell. Permease function is increasing the permeability of beta galactosidase into the cell. And third one is transacetylase. Transacetylase function is not yet clear. So that we have no need to discuss about transacetylase. The first function is, the first enzyme is beta galactosidase produced by Z gene. The function of beta galactosidase is to break down the lactose into galactosidase and glucose. And permease function is increases the permeability to beta galactosidase. Always some amount of beta permease enzyme will be produced to increase the permeability. Always some amount of permease enzyme will be produced, little amount of permease enzyme will be produced to increase the permeability. This is lac operon switch on mechanism. Now let us see switch off mechanism, switch on mechanism differences. In the switch on mechanism, lactose is not there, so that enzyme production is not induced. In switch on mechanism, lactose is there, so that enzyme production is induced. So that which one is inducer? Lactose is inducer. This type of lactose is inducer. So in this lac operon concept, the inducer is lactose. Due to presence of lactose only, enzymes are produced. But here, due to absence of lactose only, here there will be no enzyme is synthesized. Absence of lactose, synthesizing of enzymes is not there. Presence of lactose, synthesizing of enzyme is there. So that in this process, what we can say, lactose is the inducer. And at the same time, this type of regulation, because substratum only producing or inducing production of enzymes, this type of regulation can be considered as negative regulation. The substratum only producing or inducing the production of enzymes, substratum itself inducing the production of enzymes, so this type of regulation can be called as negative regulation. And the lac operon concept is applicable to all prokaryotes and very few eukaryotes. Very few eukaryotes like fungus. Lac operon is applicable to all prokaryotes and very few eukaryotes like some fungi, because operons are not present in eukaryotic organisms and developed eukaryotic organisms. Like fungus, some of the fungi may have some of the fungi may have operons in their system.